Yesterday, apparently a rapper by the name of Dank DeMoss filed a lawsuit against Lyft, which is the ride sharing platform, alleging she was denied a ride due to her body size. This was reported by a ton of different news outlets yesterday, and look, I'm gonna keep it 100% honest with you guys, okay? We need to address the elephant in the room. I'm sorry, I didn't mean it like that. It's just like there's some obvious things we got to talk about with this, but first we need to actually, let's just watch the video.
So you really telling me I'm too big to get in your car?
Deja Blandings recorded it all. Her Lyft driver pulling up only to turn her down.
I was too big, and his tires, something about his tires. I asked him, what do I have to do with your tires?
Stop it. You know, bro, come on. Okay, so we're 18 seconds in and we're being intellectually dishonest already. Okay, what do you have to do with tires? Let's just.
This happened January 18th. The 29-year-old Detroiter was headed to a Lions watch party, only she never got there.
So you telling me I can't get in the Lyft because I can't fit in your car?
Yeah, you need to order a bigger car.
What makes you think I can't fit in the car?
She just said, what makes you think I can't fit in the car? Ma'am, come on, what are we doing? Really? Just, you know this, listen, it's gonna be really hard because I don't want to be mean about this because this is actually kind of a sad situation. We got to be honest though, right? The only thing that we can do is be honest here. What makes him think that she can't fit in the car? Well, he pulled up and he looked at her and said, oh, that's a larger woman than the average person that he typically drives around, and was like, yeah, you should get a bigger car. Like there's a choice. You can do that on the Lyft app. You can order an XL. They also have accessible rides, from what I understand, for people that require wheelchairs, which obviously would be a larger vehicle that maybe she would have a better time fitting in. Let's just hear it.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
The driver told her she needed to request an XL car.
I was embarrassed, and I feel some type of way about it, you know.
It is embarrassing. It is embarrassing, and I can imagine that it doesn't feel good to be declined, you know, a ride because of your weight, right, and your size, right? It's not just weight. She's a large individual, and this is clearly based on the video. This is like a Toyota Corolla or something like that, right? Like this is like a Ford Focus or something. It's not an SUV. This is like a regular passenger car. But let's finish this and then we'll get into it.
She's hired a lawyer and is suing Lyft.
Well, from a legal standpoint, it seems like obvious discrimination. The Elliott-Larsen Act, which is Michigan's Civil Rights Act, specifically protects people from weight discrimination. And the driver here turned down her ride because of her weight.
Deja says this experience has scarred her.
Scarred her? Okay, back up. Let's just listen. This is a logistical problem, okay? This is not discrimination based on weight. This is logistically the driver looking at her figure, her frame, her size, and being like, hey, I don't think that this is going to be a reasonable ride for you, for a variety of reasons that we'll get into here in just a moment. But it's not like he operates a pizza shop, okay, and anyone can fit in the door, and he decided not to serve her pizza because she's too fat, okay? That would be discrimination. Like, of course you can't do that, right? Like, let's just be real. You should not discriminate against people for any reason, straight up, right? But in this case, there are physical limitations of the hardware, okay? Again, I'm gonna get into that in just a second, but like, if the driver has objective reasons why she needs to order a larger vehicle, or at least won't be able to safely and comfortably ride in his vehicle, then that's just called reality, okay? It's not discrimination. That is the reality of the situation. It's unfortunate. It is sad. It is a little bit embarrassing. It's frustrating for the driver. It's awkward for the driver that he even has to like be in this situation to begin with. But like, what are we gonna do about this, right? We can't be in pretend land. We can't be in fairy tale land, okay? We have to be honest with ourselves about the situation we find ourselves in, and sad enough to say, there's a good chance that maybe this might not have been the best ride for her. Just to really drive my point home here, okay? Does this square fit in this space right here? The answer is no. Okay, now, am I discriminating against the yellow square? That's the question that we face ourselves with here, ladies and gentlemen. You can see that the square does not fit in this 2x2 space here. Okay, that's just the reality we live in. This square does not fit right here. That sucks, right? It would be really great if it did, because then it would make my life a lot easier when I'm playing Tetris. But unfortunately, if we're living in reality, this does not fit there, and therefore, objectively, if it doesn't fit, am I discriminating discriminating against this square because of its size? No. Am I discriminating against it because it's yellow? No, there's no discrimination here. I looked at it and it doesn't fit, and now we're done. That's the whole, we're done. What am I gonna sue Tetris? What are we doing? What is this? Let's finish this video.
I haven't really like left my house since that.
She hopes this lawsuit will change how people treat others of all sizes.
Shouldn't have to pay for extra for a Uber XL.
You should, if that's the only vehicle that you can fit into, right? And it sucks that it costs more for those types of rides. I totally understand that. That's unfortunate, right? And that is a problem that is unique to, you know, larger individuals that require bigger vehicles. But like, we're 24 seconds away. Let's
Does not comment on pending litigation. They did send us this statement saying, quote, Lyft unequivocally condemns all forms of discrimination. We believe in a community where everyone is treated with equal respect and mutual kindness.
Let's see if we can watch a little bit more of the actual footage here.
I can fit in this car.
No, believe me, you can.
Yes, I can.
Believe me.
He told her there's not enough room in his car.
The kicker part was when he started to talk about his tires. You know, I feel like that was a slap in the face. That was like my tires, you know, like.
The driver said his tires could not handle her weight.
For every big person you turn down because they can't fit in your car?
Yeah, because they need to order the Uber XL.
You know what? I don't never have to order Uber XL.
He apologized, canceled the ride, and left her there. The rapper says she's pretty tough.
She raps about getting money. If you've got money, why are you taking a Lyft? I'm just saying. It could be because she planned on drinking and didn't want to be responsible for a car. There's tons of reasons why someone might do that, but I'm just saying. And if you're getting so much money, then wouldn't you want to be more comfortable in a Lyft XL, right? Even if you don't need to order one, it would be more comfy, right? Let's just be real. All right, let's see what the article has to say here. Sorry, I got no space. My car is small. The driver said I can fit in this car. She said, believe me, you can't. I'm so sorry. I'm going to cancel the ride. You're not going to get charged. Basically just letting her know, like, hey, like, I'm not going to just take your money and leave you here. She said, sir, you're telling me I can't get in Lyft because I can't fit in your car. You're really telling me I'm too big to get in your car, so I have to order another Lyft. He said, yeah, you got to get a bigger car. Oh, it looks like according to Power 1051, it was a Mercedes-Benz sedan. Okay. And here's what Dank had to say. Wow, we're really starting 2025 off with a bang here. If ions stand for something, I'll fall for anything. Trophy 100 light bulb. Thank you to my lawyers Marco and Zach Runyan, fighting for my community, my people, and making change to the world, not just for me but everyone. Thank you to my team and all the support I'm getting. Okay, here's my 2 cents, and I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I'm not a mechanic, not a professional, okay, but I am gonna enjoy my First Amendment rights to just talk about my opinions on things that happen out in the world. All right, first of all, how much does she weigh? 400, bro, 489 pounds. Okay. All right. So listen, that's a large woman. That is a much larger than your average passenger that you would expect to have in your car as a Lyft driver. So a couple things come to mind for me right away. Okay, first of all, seatbelts. If you're 500 pounds, I feel like a seatbelt, you're gonna struggle. You're gonna struggle. She knows it, he knows it, everyone knows it. Okay, they sell seatbelt extensions for a reason, because it is not safe to use the default size of seatbelt for somebody as large as she is. And so unless she brought a seatbelt extension with her to ride in this Lyft, then it would arguably be unsafe for her to get into that vehicle. A sad state of affairs, but I would argue not discrimination. Like, it's literally just safer for her to not be in that vehicle, assuming she does not carry around with her a seatbelt extension. Second of all, just logistically, I can see weight distribution being an issue here potentially. Okay, I'm not a professional, I'm not a mechanic, I don't know everything about cars, but I get that, like, logically you could expect that possibly to be a scenario. If it's a nice Mercedes, then it's probably fine, right? Like, let's be real, it's probably fine. It can probably support a woman of this weight. The car is going to be a little bit off balance, right? So you got to be careful. Things like speed bumps, going around certain turns. Okay, I'm also going to be honest, okay, and I've seen this before, so you can tell me if you agree with this or not. There's a good chance that she's going to use those doors to get in and out of the vehicle. Okay, and by use those doors, I mean she's gonna hold on to the door to get into the car, right? Because she's a large woman. She's got to like get in a certain way so she can fit in the vehicle. That puts a lot of extra weight on those door hinges that they're probably not built for. And even if you wanted to solve the weight distribution issue by having her sit in the center, well, that's not a very safe place to sit, especially without a seat belt. So are the airbags going to be less effective for her as well, right? And in the video, the man claimed something about his tires, and we don't know if that's a legitimate claim or not, okay? It could be the case that he needs a little bit of work on his tires. If that's the case, he shouldn't be driving for Lyft. Let's just be clear, that's the driver's fault, okay? But let's say that maybe he's just not 100% confident with the current state of his vehicle. There's no check engine laid out or anything like that, but maybe he just has a good feeling, okay? Anyone who's owned a car, a shitty car, I've owned a shitty car. We've all had our struggle days, okay? I've had cars overheating, I've had cars with blown tires. Sometimes there's just a little noise. You hear a little noise and you're like, I'm not sure what that is. Sounds like maybe it's the tire. And then you pull up and this lady wants to get in your car. Again, should you be driving for Lyft if you have tire issues? No. But in that exact moment, he made the executive decision to say, hey, you know what? Something is telling me that this may not be safe because this woman is larger than average, okay? And really, who knows what the actual payload of his Mercedes is? But I mean, we don't know what he looks like. He could be a larger gentleman himself, you know, 250 pounds wouldn't be like super unexpected for a larger man, okay? So she's 500, he's 250, that's 750 right there. What else is in the car? Maybe there's something in the trunk. Who knows what the total payload would be? But as a Lyft driver in the moment, you're doing like these rough estimates, like just sizing her up and being like, oh, like, you know, maybe it's safer if we just don't do this, right? And that's really all this is. He just looked at her and was like, hey, like, you know it, I know it, everyone knows it. She's large. She knows she's big, okay? She knows it. And let's be honest, this probably isn't the first time that a Lyft driver or Uber driver has done a double take, okay? Maybe they never stopped her before, and this guy was the first one that was like, hey, for your and my safety and yours, we're gonna just not do this. But she knows what she's doing, okay? She knows. Come on, let's be real, all right? And also, let me just say, I am 5'9". At my most, I weighed 220. Right now, I'm 178-ish, all right? So I've never been this big, but I've weighed a little bit more than I should in the past. And I'm gonna be honest with you guys, there's been times where I'm in my friend's car in the back seat and it's a little bit cramped. I'm not a big dude. I'm not saying I'm fat. I'm not, okay? But like just by where my knees are, and if the seat is back far enough, like it's a little cramped in the back seat. So she's gonna be even more cramped. She knows it. This is her lived experience, okay? And on top of all of that, the reality is that larger individuals wear down the seats, the fabric, the cushions, and the seat weight sensors faster than a regular individual. And we're not even gonna get into like alignments and all that other stuff, suspension, whatever, okay? That's all speculation. Who knows if his car can actually handle her or not, but just from a pure wear and tear perspective, a car is going to experience objectively more wear and tear from giving larger passengers a ride compared to your average sized individual, okay? So again, if we're looking at a regular silver sedan, whatever kind of car this is, all right, was this discrimination? I don't think so. I think this is a completely, like, if you're uneducated with like the payload of your car, which let's be real, nobody knows, no one knows off the top of their head unless you're like really into it. You don't know the max payload of your car, right? So you're just gonna play it safe. He's just playing it safe. He's just like, hey, I've done this before. I've had larger people in my car before. Maybe it made him feel uncomfortable or whatever the case might be, but he's just like, yeah, you should get a Lyft XL. You are larger. That's what the XL means. She's bigger than a regular. I'm not even being mean. Just look at her. This is just the reality that we live in. It's fine. And you're allowed to be this large. That's okay, right? I'm going to tell a story, and I hope my dad doesn't watch this video because I don't want him to take this the wrong way. Dad, if you're watching, I love you, of course, 100%. But I do remember there was a time where he and I were at an amusement park, and at that time he was overweight. He would admit it, okay? He knows it. It's no secret, okay? And there was a roller coaster where the harness comes down, because it was one of the ones that goes upside down, right? It comes down like this, right? And you have to pull it from above, and boom, and there's the handles here, right? And you know what I'm talking about, right? And he couldn't ride the ride because it just, the way that it came down, he has, you know, wider shoulders, and the way that his build is, and he had a larger stomach, and so pushing it down, it just didn't meet the safety sensor. He wasn't able to ride the ride, which sucks, right? That's not great. And it is what it is. Since then, I'm happy to report he's lost a lot of weight, which is beautiful. beautiful, right? I'm very happy, very proud of him, and that's inspiring to me and everybody, right? So I tell this story to say that, was that discrimination against my father? The answer is no, right? Because of course it's not safe for him to ride the roller coaster if the fucking harness doesn't come down properly, and in the same way it wouldn't be safe to ride in the back seat of this sedan if you don't have a seatbelt extension, because then you can't ride it, you can't wear a seatbelt. So what is Lyft supposed to do? Just permit passengers to be in less safe scenarios when they're going down the road? That sounds like an even bigger lawsuit if you're asking me. So let's just call a spade here, okay? This rapper is overweight. It is what it is. I'm not hating on her. It's just some things are reality. Some things are factually true, okay? This person is nearly 500 pounds. That means they weigh more than your average person. Just fact. We're done. That's a fact, okay? So there are going to be logistical issues with this individual fitting in some vehicles, and some drivers may find that it's just they don't feel safe with someone this big in their car for whatever particular reason, whether it was his tires or suspension or whatever the case might be, or just the fact that she wouldn't have been safe without the proper seatbelt. So I find this story to be absolutely absurd, okay? It's absolutely absurd. It's like those stories that you hear where like passengers, they don't fit in an airplane seat, and like the airline requires that they basically buy 2 seats or something like that, right? It's not discrimination if objectively it's true that you don't fit. It's not we have to come back to reality, right? We can't keep doing this. It's insanity, right? We are actually insane. This is emotional manipulation, okay? This person wants you to feel bad for them because of how large they are, and to an extent I do, because this individual does not have a healthy relationship with food. I don't have a healthy relationship with food. It was very difficult for me to lose 50 pounds from my highest weight ever to my lowest weight ever. It was challenging. It is difficult. It is emotionally draining. You're hungry all the time, and you're angry, and you're anxious, and it's not easy to lose all that weight, okay? But I know that this is either an unhealthy relationship with food, or it is a hormone imbalance, or it's an emotional thing, or whatever the case might be, right? And all that's fine, and none of that's a problem, okay? You're allowed to eat as much food as you want. So in a way, this is sad, right? It is unfortunate that this individual has gotten so large, but there's nothing really wrong with that. Like, if she's happy with how she looks and how she feels on a day-to-day basis, and she loves her life, and beautiful, more power to you. I wish I could do that, right? I wish I could be comfortable with myself at a larger weight, but I simply can't be. I can't do it. I was also born with a heart condition, so it's just not wise for me to be overweight. But if you're comfortable being that size and having the lived experience that you do, amazing, right? Amazing. No problem with that at all. And if she's a great rapper, good for her. That's amazing, right? But sometimes reality is not going to agree with your lived experience, unfortunately, right? It's unfortunate that that is the case. If everyone could drive around in a Hummer, then maybe the world would be a better place. I don't know. RIP to the ozone layer. But my point is, this is ridiculous. It just is. Let's be real. This is absurd. And if I'm being honest, I do feel a little bit bad here, because this story blew up, right? And she's gonna get a lot of internet trolls coming after her. She's gonna get a lot of people that are cyberbullying her, making fun of her for her weight, or for whatever the case might be. The internet's a cruel place, right? It is. I get negative comments about me on my main channel, and I just I'm talking about mobile games. Like, what are we even talking about, right? So I can only imagine the amount of backlash she's gonna get here. And obviously I've made some lighthearted jokes throughout this video, just because it's a serious subject, and it's a little bit bizarre. It's a little weird. It's a little bit goofy, right? And so I'm trying to be lighthearted about it, but the truth is that there's gonna be a lot of people that genuinely send hate her way, and I feel bad about that, which sucks. But also, she's 29, and she must have known that you've had the internet your whole life. You know how the internet is. You know that this is going to happen, especially if this makes headlines, right? And so it's unfortunate that is also the case, but it's just you kind of have to expect it. You kind of have to expect it, and that sucks. It does suck, and I do not envy her position. Please, if you're watching this, do not send hate comments to anybody involved. That's insane. We're all adults here. Let's be real, okay? Now, I was curious what Lyft's actual terms of service are, if you are, because a Lyft driver is not an employee of Lyft. It's an independent contractor. So I was curious, what freedoms or restrictions do Lyft drivers have when it comes to accepting or declining a ride? And here on Lyft's own website, right here, acceptance rate, it says you have the right to accept or decline a ride request at any time. So I feel like this specific article and instruction protects the driver at least 100%, right? Lyft Lyft literally tells drivers that they can decline a ride at any time, okay? And in this case, he decided to decline the ride in front of the woman he was going to pick up. Doesn't matter what his reason was, period. It says right here he's allowed to do that. So okay, right away, I guess it makes sense she sued Lyft instead of the driver specifically, even though he's an independent contractor. But I also suspect that when you sign up for Lyft, you accept their terms of service on your end as a rider as well. And I'm sure in those terms of service, it probably says that your ride may be canceled at any time, right? And so like, what are we even doing here? This whole thing just seems like a waste of lawyers' time, to be honest with you. And like, if we're being real, like this, she kind of has to lose, right? Because it like, what kind of world will we live in if she doesn't does that mean that every Lyft driver will be required to pick up every individual regardless of anything? Like are they going to be required to carry around seatbelt extensions in their car? Are they going to be required to have a car that has a minimum payload rate? Like it just, the logistics of this are insane, right? And there's just no way that we're going to be able to, it's just not realistic, right? We can't set up the entire structure for a very small percentage of individuals that it happens to not be perfectly fit for, right? No pun intended, but I mean, it is what it is. And that's why they offer the option of a bigger vehicle if you're a bigger person. And part of me wonders if this was her attempt at just getting some publicity on her music, right? Because it's historically very difficult to become a rapper and be successful at it and get a lot of people listening to your music. And so if she can make headlines for this and get her name out there just into the algorithms, then maybe a few people are going to listen to her music and maybe it's good, right? Maybe it's good. And if that's her plan, if that was her 5-head strategy, then kudos, because I love the hustle. That's awesome, right? Do your thing, get your name out there, do whatever you need to do. But this lawsuit specifically is just, it's absurd, right? It's absurd. You know it, I know it, everyone knows it. This is one of those things where you actually don't need to really be that much of an expert. It's kind of a common sense thing. You just look at what's in front of you. That's all it is. Okay, that's really all it is. I wish her the best of luck. I hope she loses this case. I'm tired of pretending like this is some sort of like hateful thing to say. That's just literally every doctor will tell you that you don't see 500-pound people in a retirement home for a reason. Okay, just walk into your local retirement home. No one's 500 pounds there. Okay, I wonder why. Okay, so look, I wish her the best for her career. If this was her hustle, amazing, good for her, right? But let's not weaponize the legal system to emotionally manipulate corporations like Lyft to getting free money out of them. Let's be real. It's a small car, you're not a small person, and that's kind of where this starts and ends, right? Like, it's really that simple. It's really all it is. She's big and his car isn't. Okay, anyway, that's my 2 cents on this. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. I think this whole story is it's a bit absurd. It's crazy that we're starting 2025 off with so many bangers here, but let me know what you think in the comment section below. While you're down there, drop a thumbs up on the video. It really helps out the channel a ton. It helps get this video out into the YouTube algorithm so other people might see it. Subscribe while you're down there. Most of you guys are not subscribed, so click that sub button and bell if you want to be notified the next time I upload a video. And with that being said, guys, thank you so much for watching. This is Omniarch. I will talk to you guys again soon. Peace.